Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today, I want to work on getting gyro, or figuring out how Steam on Linux gets gyro inputs from a controller. So the context is we've been working on this custom controller, right? And one of the things that we might want to add to it is some gyroscopes to do, like, aim by kind of wiggling the controller around like a fucking idiot, right? The idea there is, maybe you can play people claim as accurate as on a mouse, but with a controller, which is nice because I would like to play mouse and keyboard, but playing mouse and keyboard hurts my hands now. So that's part of the goal here. And so if we did like the simple thing and we just reported this thing as an Xbox controller and mocked out the Xbox controller interface, we wouldn't be able to add gyros because Xbox controllers don't have them. We can't really pretend that we're a Steam controller, or sorry, not a PlayStation controller, because PlayStation controllers have features that we don't have, like the touchpad on the front, and games might expect us to have those. And like a Nintendo Switch controller, it's close, except it would be nice to be able to have like extra buttons and stuff in the back, right? So really, we're kind of like our own input device. So we've been like poking around a little bit. Yesterday, we created this like fake controller by basically opening up a handle in Linux to this like input pipe that lets you pretend that you're a piece of hardware that you're not. We inject events into that pipe like this. So we just say like, hey, we support these buttons, and we might send those things out. So like in a loop, we just loop over all the buttons and we send them. So if I like run this thing now, we should see in Steam, if we open the right thing, we go here. Yeah, we should see these buttons starting to get smacked. Yeah, so here we're seeing the triggers get pressed. Now we're on the buttons, A, X, Y, B. He's just cycling through them all, pressing them. So we've got like a thing for the purposes of testing software, right? This isn't really hooked up to the real controller, but we want to understand the interfaces before we commit to doing anything, right? And so today, I want to look at getting what would we need to do to get this thing to report that it has a gyro, right? So I have the Nintendo Joy-Cons hooked up to these things from the Nintendo Switch, and if I go into the calibration settings here and I go into gyro calibration, there's like this little interface that it's broken if we're running our gamepad thing. That's weird. Don't know why that's happening. It's probably because we probably pressed B in our other on our other controllers at cycling inputs. That's funny. But yeah, here we're seeing like some form of roll, pitch, yaw being reported by this thing. I don't really understand how that's getting here, and so that's the goal for today, is to get our controller to show this same thing. And then we'll understand a little bit more about if it's possible, what the interfaces are, what we should be like reporting from our controller, all that jazz. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's just get into it. So I guess the first thing we have to do is figure out how to report this thing has a gyro. So we learned yesterday that the input devices are all shown in dev input on Linux. This is different than on Windows, but this is good enough for us for now. In here, there are a bunch of event handles from a bunch of things that are plugged in. I don't know why the fuck there are 30 of these. Seems a little excessive. But events 26 and 27 are my left and right Joy-Con. And so I can look at these guys and I can say, hey, UDEV, this guy who's like this program who's running root privileges owned by systemd, he's sitting there monitoring hardware and like trying to figure out what it is and like what rules they should have and stuff, right? So this guy knows about the controllers, and this is how at least SDL determines what is a controller and what is not. But we also noticed if you say, give me the info on dev input event 27, which is one of the two Joy-Cons, he has this thing that says, I am an accelerometer. And I believe in SDL code, we saw that being used for him to determine if he has one of these things, right? So here he says, hey, if I'm a joystick, let's say we're joystick. If I'm an accelerometer, let's say that I'm an accelerometer. So I guess let's kind of look at this. Who uses this? UDEV device accelerometer. So presumably somebody here says, I have a sensor. If I have this thing, hold on. Yeah, guess is sensor and is sensor. So this guy returns let's see. What is he returning? 0 for not a sensor, I guess. So if he fails to open this thing, if it's not a sensor, etc., then he fails, and he returns 1 if it is. So who calls this? This is called on add device. So this is also where we were getting information about if we're a joystick. Here he says, if I'm a sensor, he adds it to the sensor list. So presumably, sensors in the sensor list are used as gyros, maybe? Let's look at like the SDL interface for gyros and see. Having fewer inputs than something you're thinking of emulating is not a problem, right? Just don't ever report a press wiggle. Having more is where it becomes a problem. Well, if the game expects me to have it, then it might assign actions to it, is really more what I was concerned about. Also, Nexel, thanks for the prime. Also, sorry, I think I'm late on that response. So can we look at like STL2 gyro example? Is that like a thing that exists? What's like maybe this is the type of thing that we asked the idiot for. Could you give me an example of reading gyro inputs in SDL? 2, maybe. This doesn't seem right to me. Oh, axis motion? I mean, that doesn't... I'm not like... I'm not convinced that that's wrong. We could try this and see if we get inputs from our little guy, and if we do, then that gives us some good clues on where to start looking in SDL and how he like detects this thing. Do we have GCC test 2 test2.c? Do we not have SDL in our shell? I think we might not. Hold on, we'll add it. Gyro, 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 gyro. Exactly. SDL2. Give me that bad boy. Give me that bad boy. He's thinking hard. GCC again. And then LSDL2. That compiles. Okay. I don't think I checked here. Which controller are we using? Joystick open 0. Let's just make sure that only the gyro available thing is plugged in. So I unplugged my Xbox controller, and I guess we just run this thing and see what happens. Wrong fucking program. My bad. Test 2. So he's supposed to print something, I guess, if something happens. Oh, so this is just the guy's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot. So if I rotate this, nothing happens. But if I wiggle the sticks, then we start seeing behavior. So as expected, as per fucking usual, the idiot's an idiot. I'm pretty sure SDL does support this. If I run your example, it spits out when it reports when sticks are moved. Is there a way to detect accelerometer / gyro? I'm pretty sure this exists, but if it doesn't, then we might have to go... Okay. This lines up more with what we were seeing, right? Now he's like, oh, I meant sensor. Sorry. I know you said the first time, and that's what you found in the fucking code base when you looked. But yeah, okay, this lines up more with what I would have guessed, right? Because we were seeing that it looked like it was finding sensor, like they were calling accelerometer sensors. That was my read on the situation. But, you know, I'm not going to get too mad. This is what we asked for. right? When we use AI, we get AI behavior. Failed to open gyro sensors. There are 0 sensors available. Great. Great. So here he's like, let me. Okay, this is at least is like reasonable code though. So I guess the question now becomes, where is this coming from? I'm not really okay. Let's look at SDL sensor open. This at least gives us some entry points. This is just so fucking stupid. It's just so stupid. Like SDL sensor open example, right? Surely that's just like the device index. Surely. This using sensors? No. This goddamn dude, Google too. Everybody just wants me to have a shitty life. That's what they're all saying. Let's just read the docs, I guess. Index as an argument and the sensor on the system, right? So this is obviously fucking stupid. But if we just throw 0 in there. Zero. Oh, he is just saying there are 0 sensors available. Which is, I guess, a clue, huh? I guess that's a clue. Why are we making a window? I don't know. We'll not worry about it. So let's go back to trying to figure out how SDL chooses if there's a sensor or not. At least it's using functions that actually exist. Yeah, the bar's low. The bar is low as fuck. But I agree. Okay, so can we look for SDL? We can look for 0 sensors available. Oopsies. Sensors available. So we got sensor drivers who, you know, we might be looking at. This does look like none of these are right. Hand wavy, right? None of these are. This is 3DS, PlayStation Vita. Is that what the Vita is? I think. Yeah, PlayStation Vita, handheld console, Windows, Core Motion. I assume none of these are what we want. Right? So can we go back to UDEV? What was it? It was like, is sensor. Okay, so we got SDL sensor list. Who uses this? Who uses this bad boy? Where is this thing even defined? Here. So this is in Linux joysticks. I love asking it about Rust libraries, which just comes up with its own API for crates even after looking at docs. Hell yeah, dude. I started to use a keyboard shortcut to add a keyboard shortcut to skip the yapping. Yeah, the AIs, they won't shut the fuck up sometimes. Okay, so who uses this then? Maybe add device creates, I assume that this injects the device into some list. And then maybe the sensor actually does show up as a joystick. Maybe the AI wasn't as fucking stupid as we thought it was. Because all of, like, I don't really know. This is like system abstraction around joystick, right? Hand wavy. So this probably gets passed as like function pointers to somebody who picks what platform you're on or something up above. So can we figure out like who calls this thing? I think it'd be a lot easier if we had you know, a build that worked. So let's maybe do our best to get there. Good at how are, oh god, we're reading SDL code again. Yeah, sorry, dude. It is what it is. Me when vibe coding is harder than actual programming. It's just, yeah, dude. Yeah, Mlug, we're on gyros. Gyros. What do you think? Is this really necessary? He's working really 25 seconds of just like what the fuck is going on, just to get like a build environment that kind of works. Okay, cmake dot dot dash g cmake export compile commands equals on. Then this has compile commands dot json hype. So now if I have clang tools and clang d, it should know to look for that compile commands file. And then now hopefully was it like sys joystick Linux? Now hopefully we can actually like use IDE features, unknown type. So we're not super chill. Oh, because probably there's like generated headers, so we probably have to like attempt a build at least a little bit just to get him, to generate headers that he might use. Which this now exists, which it didn't before, which means that all of our types are resolved now, hype, and now we can fucking actually figure stuff out. So, is sensor. This is where we think the accelerometer stuff is. Oh, he doesn't know to use udev. We probably want that, right? Which probably means we need to reconfigure our builds with libudev available. I think that's like a more sane way to do this right now. I saw AutoTools the other day checking if my compiler had fucking long. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. So if I go to build here and I go like run cmake again, does he like have some sort of like libudev wanted on off? So probably here I have to like get it to reconfigure rmc make cache, and then we just have to run this whole fucking shebang again. We'll give him a minute. He's got to think. He's got to recheck if we have fucking string.h. Yeah, sure. It's also funny because it wouldn't piss me off so much if it didn't take so long for every single one of these, right? Each one of these is probably like 400 milliseconds to be like, do you have the function atan? It's like, oh my god. Okay, did it at least find udev this time? No. Great. Okay, that's cool. Love that. Looking for libudev.h. Found. Okay, so then what the fuck is the problem, bitch? like why not? Why is he mad? This is the worst part of programming. Have you have we agreed? Build systems, the worst fucking part? The reason it takes so long for each one is because it compiles the program using the feature. Yeah, I know. POV normal reaction to cmake. Hello? Hello? So, is this just a fucking lying piece of shit? Or maybe wanted is different than if it's available? Could be. udev. Yeah, he says udev lib is not found. Oh, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. How the fuck did they find this shit? SDL find, SDL checks, cmake lists, udev. It must be like package config or some shit. We probably, okay, let's NixOS options. We just gotta try a little bit harder. udev. Oops, packages. udev. How come I did nix-shell-p udev and it worked, and it's just not in this list of packages? Oh, libudev 0? Daemonless replacement? No. God, I fucking am gonna lose my mind. grep udev. Yeah, that makes sense. So this did work, right? I'm not crazy. I ran this and it did something, which means that it must be like, Yeah. So that must be like an alias for some other fucking package. Welcome to the asylum. Yes. Uh Nix libudev not found. Let's just um how to install libudev. Good. I'm not the only one fucking confused. I'm trying to build something. This is already packaged. Okay, but like okay, so I guess this thing I guess we could just look at what they do for SDL2, right? That's probably the actual fix here. How the fuck do they make this not shit? They take in udev? Hello? No? That's cool. How are none of these udev? Oh, this is SDL. No, okay, SDL2. Maybe they just don't fucking use udev in their official build. Oh, I'm gonna lose my mind. It should not be this hard. It should not be this hard. Maybe I need. Do they have package config here in the list of shit that they're using? Um. It seems kind of likely that CMake is using package config to check if it exists. Maybe can we do let's like run package config ourselves and see if we can find like how do you fucking use this thing? Like package config lib udev. How the fuck do you use this fucking program? Like if we do like package config SDL too. No, how do you fucking do this? Package config libs cflags lib SDL2. Okay, so he's like at least he's like I can't fucking find that lib udev not found. Of course. Maybe system dlibs. That doesn't sound crazy, right? Capital L. Because it is a library from systemd. God damn it, dude. Okay, env grep systemd. So if we look at like ls this guy, is it in here? Libudev, hype. Okay. cmake dot dot. He probably didn't even bother fucking rechecking this little bitch. Oh, wait, on. Let's go! Let's go. After all that. So now, hopefully, we fucking go back to sys joystick in here on Linux. And he goes, is sensor? Let's go! We're so back, baby. God damn it. Okay. So all I wanted to know was like who calls this. So we got joystick init, scan input devices, which gets called from joystick driver here. So there's a joystick driver that calls init on this guy. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So on init, he like goes in, he makes it down into maybe add device, right? And in maybe add device, we add the device to the list of sensors here, if it exists, right? So who the fuck calls this guy? Who like walks the sensor list, you know? Get sensor, right? So this is probably where we're looking. So joystick open with device index. So this is okay, interesting. So we open the joystick. Then if we get on the joystick, we look for a sensor to be attached to it. Like, how is this item used? So he opens the item, then checks whatever the fuck this is. Don't know what that is. Come back to that. Then he rips the sensor list and presumably checks if the sensor is like related to this thing. Item sensor is part of the sensor list. How does this get tied back to the item? Probably through this file descriptor. And so this must be like asking unique item comes here, and he compares if the sensor is the same guy by whatever the fuck this ioctl is. Okay. Okay. And then, so then this guy is like attached to this guy as something. How does this get like linked back? Item? The fuck? So we have joystick here. Is this the output of this thing? Okay, so we get like joystick, we have an instance, we get some hardware data associated with this thing. I don't understand. Oh, here, prepared joystick hardware data is probably where we're missing, which doesn't exist. That's weird. I don't know why he didn't find that. But now he's got the sensor here, and it gets attached to the hardware data. Got it. So it is part of the joystick. And then who calls this? Am I in the wrong fucking shell? Why the fuck? Clang D? It exists. So why the fuck didn't it find that? Linux? Sys joystick? Hardware data item sensor. Yeah, it just doesn't like this function. Maybe it's still indexing? No? Alright, I don't know, man. But we can probably look for usages of this item sensor then. Because presumably somebody will report things from the sensor if it finds them, right? Right? Ooh, set sensors enabled. Looks promising. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on here with Clang D. He seems to be losing his shit. Oh, maybe we forgot to build again? Maybe we have to build to generate some headers, and we just forgot to do that part. And so he's like losing his fucking mind because he's a fucking dumbass. Linux sys joystick. Does that look a little bit more promising? Where the fuck was it? Were we? Hardware data item sensor. Yeah, here we go. That's what it was. He was mad. That debug input events might be useful. No idea how to enable. Though, yeah, I've been trying to avoid rebuilding SDL from scratch, but I agree. Okay, so find references on this guy. So this is on set sensors enabled. I think set sensors enabled is the only thing, right? So we have FD sensor now, and presumably this guy is red every once in a while. Pull all sensors. So if this thing is enabled, then data gets initialized with the output of this thing. Here we go. Pull all sensors. So this presumably is called by, joystick update, handle input events. Okay, I think we understand. So we have to figure out how to get that sensor enabled shit, right? Set sensors enabled. So who calls this? This guy. Set sensors enabled is a field on the joystick driver. Set sensors enabled here. No references found. Oh, interesting. Probably because this is broken. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. Set sensors are enabled. Look for something with an arrow or Maybe there are no references. Oh, set sensors, sorry. So presumably this comes with like an arrow here. So this comes from SDL game controller set sensor enabled. And can we look through the call hierarchy for this guy? Fucking these defines really fuck up Clang D again. Game controller set sensor enabled. So this is just like an external API, I guess. Okay. We're getting closer. Okay. So can we go back to let's go back to the first example from this fucking idiot. Right? He was closer here. And here we want to, after we... I feel like we don't even want a joystick. Can we go to our fucking test from yesterday? Maybe this is more reasonable. So we do game controller open. Then we go do we not have Clang D here either? God damn it. Hold on. Clang tools. I think this is cheating, but you'll link something. This is cheating for sure, but also I'm not really convinced that this guy uses... I don't think he's creating the accelerometer, so... Cheating in a way that's not really that cheating. Okay, so open the gamepad. Here we have to say SDL game controller set sensor enabled on controller with the SDL sensor type gyro, I assume. Right? That's probably like, what does this guy want? Sensor type gyro. Cool. And then bool if enabled. So what is SDL bool an enum or an int or what? SDL true. Okay. Okay. Cool. So now, presumably there's a way to read that shit back, right? Presumably. Maybe it just comes out as an SDL event type. Else printf event this happened. I think that's reasonable. And let's see if that gets us anywhere. gcc-o test.c lsdl2 and run that shit. So, okay, event 1265 is happening a lot when I wiggle this thing around, which seems promising. Right, we said 1265, right? 1265. I guess we want to do like X format like this. Somebody told me there's a better way to do this before, but I forget. So we're looking for something on the order of like by 4F1. That's weird. That's none of these? Oh, is it a bit mask? Is it? It might be a bit mask. No. Can we just print this as hex? Did I do this wrong? 1625, not the other way? Oh. Fucking, I'm a dumbass. 659. And then if I start wiggling joysticks, I get something interspersed. So I think 659 is probably the gyro. Probably. 650, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Controller sensor update, baby. Let's go. So like what the fuck is in this thing? So we got data, 3 values, XYZ. Got timestamp, we got the instance ID, as well as the type of the sensor. So, can we, like, where does this come from? Cool, love that. Let's look for it in the SDL repo. SDL sensor type. Oh, sure. So, he might be accelerometer, he might be gyro. Okay, makes sense. and then we get the XYZ, the 3 values. So presumably it's just like roll pitch yaw or something. Controller gyro. What was it? Sensor? I already forgot. Controller sensor update. There. Does that name even have a name? Screaming James Joyce. Who's James Joyce? How you saw the side panel with the tree thing? Oh yeah, I use some plugin for that. I think it's leader I LSP buff incoming calls, and then I think I hook that up to like this Litty call tree. Litty call tree. Who the fuck is this guy? Irish novelist, poet, and literary critic. Dude, this is a reference that's flying past my head. I'll assume it's funny. Alright. So we get control sensor update, and we interpret that thing as a SDL control sensor event. Right? Where the fuck am I? Here. SDL control sensor event. Hello? Controller sensor event. My bad. So we cast the event. SC event, I guess, is equal to event. This is a pointer. And then do we have to do an explicit cast in this language? The fuck? What's he pissed about? Is this thing already a pointer or something? What's he... Am I fucking stupid? Cannot convert to a pointer type. What is event? Oh. My bad. Oh. Well, SDL event, I think, yeah, he creates padding for all these things. So I think it's supposed to be used this way. It's a union? Oh, it totally is. You're right. You're right. I think that this would do the same thing. But this is better. This should be C sensor. There we go. I believe this is equivalent, but this is just a better way to do that. Okay. So, event, gyro, event, this. And then we can look for the gyro data, which should be probably 3 floating point numbers. I think. Okay. Yep, so if I tilt this thing forwards, backwards, we're seeing, I think that's this first axis. When I go really far forwards, we're seeing big negative numbers. Then kind of positive numbers if I go up. Then the second number is this way, and that means the third number must be this way. Nice. So I think I understand. So it also looks like we don't have any accelerometer data coming from this guy, right? It's all gyro event 2, which is... Oh, sorry, that's joystick ID. No, I should have done sensor. My bad. That's actually what I wanted. I don't... Of course it's coming from the same fucking joystick all the time. Suspicious. SDL sensor type, right. Which is 0, 1, 2. So they're all gyro. Cool. Cool. So we know that Steam is getting enough info from this gyro shit. And we know that these are getting populated into this data field. So I guess the last piece of information is where is that data stuff coming from, right? So this is in, maybe we look for C sensor in here, go to this type, we look for data, who's populating this? No references found. Okay, that's cool. Didn't want it anyways. C sensor equals. How do you do like union initialization in this language? Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So this is in SDL loop. Oh, this is a test example. Not that helpful. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to sys joystick.c. So we knew that there was some sort of like poll function in here. Right, we were looking at FD sensor was used in poll all sensors. Okay, so I guess we don't have to think about it that hard, right? We know that he's getting gyro data and he's outputting gyro here, right? It's almost certainly this. So this is calling into the file descriptor associated with the joystick or the gyro. He's iterating all three axes. So we probably have abs, rx, ry, rz. Right? So it's abs, rx, abs, ry, abs, rz are from FD sensor. This is being called with whatever the fuck this ioctl is. EVIOC get abs, I guess. So this looks like we're using absolute coordinates. Like I've seen both like absolute and relative axes, I think. I think these are absolute, even though the gyro kind of feels like a relative unit, right? Because the unit is like how fast am I turning? But I guess it's like an absolute unit of how fast am I turning. Confusing. Okay. So again, how did they tie this guy back? Here they said they opened it from this path. Which they came from here on is sensor. So I think this path is the same. They're using the same path as the joystick. Okay, so it's the same device handle. And we just need it to say that he's accelerometer. I think that's it. So I think if we say we are an accelerometer, absolutely unit, thank you. If we say that if we get UDEV to detect that we are an accelerometer, I think it should expose these things. Seems kind of reasonable. So I guess we go back to that UDEV code to try to figure out how he identifies that. And then that should be enough. Oopsies. Hello? Can I please go to this website? Thank you, sir. So I guess we kind of, this actually was probably more of a how the fuck question mark. And then we're kind of still in how the fuck, I guess. Then it's like, report gyro. Okay. We are still in how the fuck. So, whoa. Do we not have ID input accelerometer here? Okay, here. So here he says, if I am an accelerometer, which just tests the bit input property accelerometer on the properties of this. So bit mask props. Who's bit mask props? Where is that coming from? Who's calling this? Bitmask props, get capability, mask. Jesus. Where the fuck is this coming from? Get cap mask from the device. Is this really the same place? This is the same place that it did joystick stuff. It's just the joystick stuff seemed way easier for me to tie back. Why? Why did it feel that way? Num joystick buttons was coming from this, which was just testing bit on the bitmask key. Okay, I guess we can assume that bitmask props here is coming from like the evdev stuff. Right, like bitmask key is the mask of all keys that we have enabled. Properties has got to be one. Just another thing. It's got to be. Hold on. Hold on. Let's take a look. Dunno. Oops. Head and 50. Okay. Yeah, so he just has a property field on here, input prop accelerometer. So I think that we just set this thing, and then it makes it all the way out? Maybe? Maybe? That'd be kind of sick. That would be kind of sick. Actually, this is the SDL window. The other one is the development window. Okay. So it should be like here, when we initialize our fake device, you know, one of the things we do is we say, hey, set EV key. And so presumably there's like set prop bit. Okay. That seems promising. Now, do we have to set EV bit to property? Like EV key is one of these things like EV prop? No. So presumably every event handle has properties. That would be my guess. So I would assume here that we can just go here and say set prop bit with EV UI input. What was it? Prop accelerometer? Right? Presumably. So these are like a I guess these aren't a bit mask, but neither are these. So let's just see what happens if we do that. So nobody is angry, which is hype. And can we do EV ls-l dev input? Which one of these was just made? Probably not 27. It probably reused another number. Look for a plus over here. Where the fuck is my joystick? Does he not exist? Did adding that prop bit just fuck everything up? Maybe. Yeah, he only sees Joy-Cons. That's pretty interesting. Oh wait, event 9? 13, 15? That's right now-ish. Event 9 is gone? Event 9 is back. Oh, okay. udev adm info dev input event 9. Okay, so he's got accelerometer on now, but he's lost joystick. Interesting. So if I comment this out and run him again, we got joystick back. Whoa. Did I accidentally delete the EV key? I don't think so. Here he's here. I wonder if we have to also set the property of button pad or something. That's really weird. That's very strange. So just to confirm, again, if we look at event 27, is this thing is both. Oh, wait, maybe this is only the accelerometer. Maybe you can't be both. Can we ls of Steam again and see if he has like many event handles open for this Joy-Con thing? That would make sense. Maybe. Right? ls of dev input event 27 or something, who's not even open right now. But if I go here, then go to here, then surely it is. No. Okay. What's Steam here? ls of -p. Which one of these motherfuckers is like actually a fucking Steam process? Oh my god. God damn it. Dude. Which one of these like 40 fucking things is the Steam process? Here, this one maybe? No, this is Brep again. Grep Steam space. Dude, I feel like I'm high. Are none of these... Oh, here, this one. This one. Also, this. Grep input. How is that possible? How is that possible? Weird. Am I mental? Like, surely... Interesting. Interesting. What about, like, the button inputs? So I click these, stuff's happening. Oh, maybe the Joy-Cons have their own special way of getting hooked into Steam. Because I know that there is this thing called, like, Joy-Con D that I had running. So maybe Joy-Con D is doing something special. And maybe you talk to this thing by some, like, fucking magic way. That's annoying. And also, maybe concerning for the way that, like, we're supposed to hook this thing up. So I'm wondering if the buttons for the Joy-Cons are coming over, like, a different event handle than the button presses. Can we EV test dev input event 27? And if I start pressing buttons on here, I don't really see anything. Right? I'm only seeing... Actually, kind of nothing of value. Am I crazy? Maybe 26? Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm only seeing timestamps? Oh, here. Somebody has to ask for them, I guess. Interesting. So if Steam's not open, he doesn't report, I guess. Is that the same for the button? So I close this again. We get timestamps now. I go to this and I start pressing buttons. They're clearly showing up, but these are not coming over here. Okay. So can I actually unplug and replug one of these Joy-Cons just to see which event handles start showing up when I do that? So I disconnect from Joy-Con R. Now event 27 is gone. Cool. And so if I reconnect, and I probably have to press a button on here, and I probably have to just hope to God that this thing actually fucking works. Available, connect to me, please. God, please. I have to press another button on it. Okay, I've got him. He's spinning. Connect. Okay, there. He's connected now. So now can we look at which inputs were created just now? It is 1321. So JS1, event 27, event 24. Interesting. What the fuck is event 24 then? Oh, okay. So this is a joystick. Okay, so it's two. It's two things then? EV test, dev, input, event 24. Permission denied. Oh, maybe they're being consumed by Joy-Con D or something? That's weird. Okay, but I mean, that's as good a guess as any. Is that the Joy-Con is exposing these over two things? So now that's back to being confusing on the SDL side, right? Because we saw SDL, we have a game controller initialization. I assume that if we open joystick 0, he's getting both joystick updates and button updates. We didn't actually check that. Test. So here, he starts spamming gyros, but what if I start pressing buttons? I think I'm seeing button press as well, right? We're seeing button presses here. So, I'm back to being confused. I'm back to being confused. So I guess this is SDL joystick, which actually might be a layer lower than gamepads, right? Gamepads and joysticks might not be the same thing. So can we go back to like is sensor, figure out who calls this on, maybe add device, joystick init, right? So can we go to this guy, figure out who calls this init function? This is called by joystick init. And so can we go back into our example? And we're calling game controller open. So let's see how that works. Right, is this guy doing some crazy shit? So he's got, you know, maybe some lock joysticks. So he's tying many joysticks to one instance ID. Maybe. Right? I think so. In the UDEV ADM outputs, it lists an input device to group. Oh, hell yeah, good, dude. Yeah, okay. That's, I think, something different. My guess would be that lib input device group is something else, but I mean, we should check. So it was 24 and 27, right? So these are the same. And then if we look at like 26, see, like 26 is the same as well. But I guess this is the other Joy-Con. So if I plug in my Xbox controller again, does he get a different group? So that's this guy. Event 9. That is different, huh? That is a different device group, so maybe. The number after the last slash differs? Oh, I thought I checked that. Oh, 2006. I was looking at the Mac, I think. Okay, so 27. Oh, okay. So 24 gets 570 2007, as does event 27. So that's interesting. It'd be kind of also interesting to see where this comes from. So on maybe add device, he gets this device instance. Mm, but yeah, I guess they tie these. I guess we don't know still if we have many joysticks or one. Right? That's not super clear yet. So theoretically, we might loop. We might. It's not. It's not out of the question that many joysticks have the same instance ID here. I think. However, he does end up with joystick here, a single joystick at this index. So I guess we can kind of try reducing this down a little bit by trying to go drop to the joystick level instead of the game controller level. Right? So this guy has game controller set sensor enabled. And does he do anything crazy? He gets the singular joystick and loops through the number of sensors. Okay. Which seems to me like we have a single joystick guy. That's how it seems to me. And then end sensors gets set through my high. End sensors is never getting set, but maybe it's because this thing's like initialized fucking in a funny way. Or like not, maybe it's not like caught by the fun references. Okay. So like theoretically, we should have one joystick that is on the same file descriptor, both buttons and sensors. Right? That seems the most reasonable to me. Oh, we actually have udev disabled here, which is bad. We did that as like a test the other day. And then can we return 0 here? I just want to kind of see what like the initial logs say. So using udev for device discovery. Okay. That doesn't really tell us much. Doesn't tell us a lot, to be honest. I would love to see debug input events. Maybe it's time for us to just compile this, huh? So make, can we just hope that this builds and link against this guy and see what happens? That would be the dream! I don't know if I'm taking like a really stupid route to figure this shit out. It feels like what we're doing is stupid, but also I don't really know what else we would do. So can we GCC here, but do -l SDL build and -i SDL build include probably. Um include config too as well, maybe? SDL build include config. No, do I have to like make install maybe? CMake install prefix equals, I don't know, install make install. Okay. SDL install include. Damn it. SDL install include. Okay, cool. So now we're hoping that those debug events are on, but that doesn't seem like it's doing anything. Printf, hi mom. Oh, because we're not when we run this thing, he's probably dynamically linked. And we need to set the LD library path when we run him as well. God damn it, dude. SDL install lib. And then using printf hi mom. What are you trying to figure out how the event devices through SDL and understand how they work so you can transfer them to the zip code? Yeah, we're basically trying to understand how Steam calibrates joystick, which we believe uses SDL under the hood. I haven't actually triple checked that, but I'm pretty sure because like of a bunch of other evidence that we've seen. Then we're trying to figure out how SDL determines from the system that this thing has gyro so that we can, in our virtual device, edit. That's kind of like the overall play. So I wonder why the fuck this isn't working. SDL install. Oh, it's lib64. That explains a lot. Oopsies. So this should be lib64. And then this LD library path should be lib64. There we go, baby. Okay. This is much nicer. So he starts fucking ripping joysticks. Let's unplug the Xbox controller because we don't want that one. Let's also remove that hi mom because that's fucking annoying. What's your background? CSU University? Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if I would say that's like the background. Yeah, sure. I've programmed for a long time. I'm like 10 years into my job, so. Not crazy. Using UDEV for joystick device discovery. Couldn't find mapping for device 0. That's interesting. Whoa, what the fuck? Whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck is going on there then? Because this was working before, was it not? What changed? Right before, is it because we're using our version of SDL? Interesting. Hold on, this is a lot of interesting info. So using like the official system SDL, we're chilling. But if we then try to use ours, he falls the fuck over. So he says using UDEV when we use our compiled version. Does he say that when he uses their compiled version? I should probably return 0 here again. Using UDEV? So what's the fucking difference? What's the difference? Probably we're missing some features or something? Interesting. Can we run... When you were building SDL to get the headers, do you need to let it fully complete? Yeah, I mean, maybe. I feel like... I mean, I think it's built, but like maybe there's some dependencies that it needs that are not... that doesn't know about, and that's like fucking things up. So I'm curious to know what happens if I run this the way that was working. Right? And he starts doing some stuff. Can we ls, grep test, ls of this guy? What's he got open? Whoa. Whoa. It gets more complicated. The fucking... The rabbit hole gets deeper, dude. What the fuck is dev hid raw? Is that where it's getting this shit from? It must be, right? Because if we grep dev here, that's the only shit it has open. Who would have seen this coming? Is that what Steam's doing? Is that why we couldn't find it before? Hold on. ls of this guy, grep dev. Yeah, he's got hid raws as well. Interesting. What the fuck is going on? Hid raw. This hid raw. Hid raw. Who the fuck? Okay, so there's a hid raw hit it raw library, which is probably why our compiled version didn't work. Right? So we need to let our compiled version of SDL2 hit it raw. Right? We have to. Right? Is that we saw, right? Is that what we saw? I feel like hid raw PC. Oh, hid API hid raw. So we want this. Is this not on? CMake dot hid API on. Okay, so then maybe that's not why it didn't work. Okay, we got some more digging to do. We got some more digging. So I guess we would assume that hid API, the libUSB thing, but this thing isn't USB. He's Bluetooth. But I guess maybe the Joy-Con left-right merger thing, that like Joy-Con D, is exposing things as a USB device or something. How confusing. How confusing. So, hold on. So, I guess, do we even know? We need to, like, inspect this a little bit more, right? He says, using UDEV for device discovery. And we don't know if this is supposed to fail for the Joy-Cons. Hid raw is USB and Bluetooth. That makes sense. I guess we can look at can we like get information about this thing? Like if we like sys class Bluetooth sys bus Bluetooth? No, it's not a bus. I was gonna see if like maybe we can like see who these guys are coming from, but I don't know if it's that easy. What fun? What fun? I mean, it could be. We could LDD on our test executable, which maybe not is not helpful because he might be lazy loading these things. So maybe what we do is we run him and we look at his mmapped files to see which libraries he's using. That seems kind of reasonable, maybe. Proc this maps, like what we got here. Hid. No, I don't see anything. No lib hid raw. So, but it could be statically linked. We don't know that. And then we do also know that he's got ls-l this proc. Oh god. ls-l this guy proc file descriptors. So yeah, we do. This is the only information we have right now. And also, it's weird that in SDL, I don't know if we see hid raw. Oh, I actually have here. Okay. I mean, it could be the libUSB stuff. I just don't know why these would be showing up as USB, but it does seem like there's a bunch of stuff in here. Who calls this? What the fuck? Oh, this is a dynamic API. SDL HID enumerate. I see. They're doing some wacky shit there. Who calls this though? This guy. Update device list. Oh, okay. So this is just a different joystick driver, a different joystick provider. So given that we're using this, it seems like the SDL stuff is not finding these through UDEV. How fun. I wonder if it's a permissions problem. Jesus Christ, dude. What a disaster. What a disaster. Who would have seen this coming? Okay. Okay, so the plot so far is that SDL presents a gamepad controller interface thing. That thing wraps a single joystick at the level of SDL. Now, SDL has joysticks that could be gyros and could be that could come from the Linux joystick driver, which uses udev to enumerate dev input handles. Now, if a dev input handle can be an accelerometer and a joystick, that would probably work, right? That's my assumption right now. But if we try to set this thing as a joystick, he falls the fuck over. Okay? That's kind of the level I'm at right now. Now, can we EV test dev input event 24 head 50. Oopsies. What was it? Event 26 and 27. Oopsies. So this lines up with our understanding so far that you can't be both a IMU and a joystick at the same time, right? Because look at this guy, he's not saying that he supports all of the button presses, he's only accelerometer. Maybe can't is strong, but doesn't, is the information we have. So maybe, because of the way that SDL works, he has to use the HID raw version because that thing has both at once. Maybe, right? That doesn't seem like too crazy. Which would maybe mean that we have to expose that thing? What the fuck is a hid raw? How do we hit it raw? I started typing hit it raw in the search bar. It's like, that's not good. I gotta stop saying it because this one time at work, I was working, I had like a bug with null terminated strings. And I started Googling C strings. And then I accidentally Google image search that thing because just like I clicked the wrong button. And it turns out that C strings are like a type of like basically non-existent underwear. You know, kind of like a more advanced version of a G string. And I'm like forever scarred because I was just like sitting in my open office, like looking at porn on my work desktop. But like I swear I was actually just trying to do programming. So we gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. Okay. Okay. I assume SDL handles this, but this might be some info worth reviewing. This is what the fuck is going on? Use oh, the lib input device group. Right. We did see that. Right. We did see that lib input device group, which is interesting. Right? I forgot about that part of the plot. So I don't think, I wonder if we can look at the joystick and sensor list here. Well, okay, so the other problem here is that using the joystick driver, SDL is not, using the Linux sys joystick driver, he is not finding these things, right? We've kind of confirmed that, right? Because probably what's happening is he's going through here, he's looking for joysticks. Is joystick. He does not find any. He finds a sensor, but maybe like then he appends us to the sensor list. Okay, wait. Then what's the problem? We have to inspect again. We have to look at the logs because I can't remember the behavior. LD library path. So right, he like loops over these guys. He doesn't find any joysticks. He only finds sensors. And then he says there are 0 joysticks available. Okay, right. So then we're assuming that he goes into the HID version. So it'd have to be grouped by the system driver, not SDL. Well, I think system driver is like confused. Yes. I think the answer to that is yes. Like, I think that we would need one event handle that is both a joystick and a sensor, unless there's some higher level SDL concept that I've missed that would tie these things back together, right? The other problem here is that, like, we don't have joysticks for the Joy-Cons. Well, we have these, JS1, JS2. But are those not it? Because when did we plug in the last Joy-Con? Probably 1321. So this would be JS1. It would be interesting to look at JS test on dev input JS1. I'd be curious to see if that gives me what that gives me. So this is just like a totally different thing. So this is giving me, this is the right Joy-Con. When I move the axes, it's working, and I'm seeing button presses. Okay. So that makes sense. So it must be that this event 24 is the equivalent. It has to be. And then why is that one not available to us? So, okay, so this is probably interesting. I bet you if we chmod this guy so that we can access him, I bet you the behavior changes. I bet you then it does work. Is UDEV init fail relevant? Sorry, I'm watching intermittently. Oh, maybe. I think it's always been there. So I'm assuming that's not the problem. But I mean, never say never. So can I, like, in my root account that you guys aren't seeing right now intentionally, chmod, probably 666 dev input event 24. Okay. So now we ls-ls thing. Event 24 is readable by us now, should be, and I'd be interested to see if the behavior here changes. Info. Oh, this actually does look bad, actually. I'm kind of on your side now, actually. Okay, so does this guy, in this case where the event is available, I wonder if this is still using the hid raw versions. Yes, it is. Okay. Also, EV test dev input event 24. Oopsies, wrong one. Like, does this give me something interesting? Right, okay, so this is interesting. So we do have a right Joy-Con that does expose himself as a joystick. That's interesting. So why the fuck does that one not work? That seems weird. Yeah, this does seem kind of weird, huh? Env grep libudev. Systemd, was it? We probably have to do, like, some of this shit. Oh. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. LS of this guy? He's HID raw again, but now at the very least, using our self-compiled one is working. That's good. We've like somehow unlocked something there. Is input user group still needed for stuff? It would be, if I would think, if I hadn't fixed this. Right, so this guy should be readable by us. So I don't really know why. Hold on. I don't know why he's saying that he can't why he can't work with event 24. Like, this seems like it should work. You know? So I'm curious as to why this is failing now. Because I want to know if this, like, hid raw thing is, like, him falling back. I mean, I guess this must be failing, right? Which means that this must be failing? Right? Like, if we go here, like, printf checking udev or something. right? Like just to see. Make install, give him a sec, he's thinking, and then we just like run this shit again. Right, so he does say like, I'm checking event 24, checking the UDEV info. And so if our UDEV info on dev info event 24 has joystick, right, which he does. Oh, I wonder if this is fucking us. Could be. That's new. I haven't seen. I like this. Yeah, might be something there. Maybe we just hit the fucking debugger here, huh? That's probably the play, huh? So we do GDB this guy, break here. Yes. Continue. Run. Oh, that's not fucking happening. Whoa, why? Oh, because maybe this is wrong? No symbol table loaded? Maybe we need to compile with debug info? GDB? Okay, let's try this again. Break here. Break here somewhere. Is this compiled with debug info? How do I look at this? C make cache. Flags. So in debug mode, he would be compiling with -G. What's the default like? Build type. It might not be defined. CMake build type equals debug. CMake cflags debug. Maybe. He is recompiling, so that's like a maybe. That's a maybe. Give him a sec. Man, this is fun. Fun little game we're playing here. There's a hid raw kernel docs. Yeah. I just want to be sure. Yeah, I want to be confident in like how this is getting hooked up. Like I want to know if I have to use the hid raw, you know, or if there's a way to make SDL understand this without it. So I just want to like, you know, just be sure. So LSDL2, it looks like they postfix this thing with a D. Okay. So now I should be able to break wherever the fuck I was trying to break before. Nice. Okay. Hype. So it looks like we're making it through this thing. Okay, so here he said he's not a joystick on event 24, which is confusing. Can we run this again? So where did he make it into this thing? So this is, you know, we are... So make it down to 300, 302, 307, 311. We get a name. Right? Okay, so we get a name. So it looks like maybe this if statement's failing at 322. Oh, so he's saying if there's a hid API version, we prefer that. So can we turn that shit off and see if it still works? Not that like, you know, that's better. It's just I want to make sure I want to understand. So what if I just turn off hid API? Say, get that shit out the fuck out of here. I wonder if that behaves better. Looks like the Linux backend for SDL joystick doesn't support sensors. But, like, I've seen the code that it does. Am I crazy? Like, we see the sensors being picked up. I mean, surely this is just not the code that I'm looking at. I've seen code that's not this. Yeah, I think that's not what I'm looking at. But maybe. Maybe. GCC test. Oops. LD library path and test. Okay. So now found joystick at 24. Good. And then we found a sensor at 27. So then we have these joystick and sensors get tied together. Wait, maybe this does work. Maybe? So can we... run this thing in? Oh, wait, hype. This does work. Wait. This is huge for us. This is so big for us right now. So I think that we managed to get it just now. That it should be using the event handles to do the same thing. Yes. Okay. Let's fucking go. Okay. So, we also know now that SDL is in fact tying these two sensors together. Right? That's big. And so we can probably assume that it's doing that through some ID that it's getting, which we should be able to get a little bit of a better handle on now through these like info logs, right? So like info, joystick unique, and sensor unique, right? This is probably how it's tying it back together. Right? So can we look for joystick unique? Here we go. So it's calling get sensor. Oh. So these things are two separate devices, but when we open the joystick, we open joysticks, which I assume goes through the like joystick list. Then ties this back here. So we have two joysticks, but one of the joystick hardware data. How is this working? No, wait, I'm confused again. I'm confused again. Unique item. Oh, I see. So he rips the sensor list and compares the unique info. And so when we call get sensor for this joystick, he attaches them together. I see. And I think that's just using the Bluetooth MAC address. So I guess it depends on what this EVIO get unique, right? This is how it ties them together. So it's actually more like one sensor for joystick, or one event handle for joystick, one event handle for gyro, and then tied together with matching answers to this. And we get to choose, I guess, how we respond to that thing. Right? Surely. So that means that we should be making 2 of these devices in our virtual device. So we are gonna have like, this is a virtual input. We can kind of leave this guy basically how he was, but then we make a new guy who's virtual gyro. He's got STFS file, right? And then he sets that property that sets him as an accelerometer, right? So we're gonna do like basically the same init function, probably. We open dev u input. We don't set these key bits, right? All of this stuff, fuck that shit. But we do have to set the EV bit. What was it? It was like UI set prop bit input prop accelerometer. Yes. Yeah. And then we wanted abs RX, RY, and RZ. So presumably it's, I guess we'll start here and see what happens. Yeah. Okay. So now we should have we should have 2 new things that were created at 1408-ish, so 1407 maybe. So event 9. Only 1? Oh, I guess we have to actually, I'm a dumbass, we have to call the function that we made. So we have virtual input. Gyro is virtual gyro. Don't you hate it when you have to call the functions you write? It's like, why doesn't he just know? Okay, so now we should have 2, 28, and 9, right? So if we do udev admin info dev input event 9, this is our joystick here. And if we look at event, what was it, 28? Not good. Was it 29? 28. So this guy is also a joystick, which means that we fucked this up somehow. And then is this like actually showing up as the same thing? EV test dev input event 28. Fuck. It's the same thing. Maybe it's because like the names collided? Oh. You actually have to call the function that you want to call? I know we've said that many times. But shut the fuck up. Okay, here we go. Here's our fucking accelerometer. Okay, so I guess what we have to do is we have to first of all, we need to make this thing readable by everybody. So did I close my other terminal? I did. SSH to myself because I need to go into my root account. Sudo chmod 666 dev input event 28. Okay. Dev input event 28. So now we've got accelerometers. We don't have any axes, right? But it would be interesting now to see what happens if we run our little test executable. So he's going to iterate these joysticks. He should find one at event 9. That's our virtual joystick, hype. And then he should eventually hit event 28 as well. And he should find a sensor. Okay. Then where was it that he called that like joystick unique shit? I guess. So I think that he has, what's he opened here? He must be finding ours first. right? So this is probably joystick 0, then the Joy-Con is probably joystick 1 or some shit. So he didn't even try. He didn't even try to stick them together. So why the fuck not? Can we... How do we do this? Maybe we run our thing in here, and then here we can keep editing our little test function. So when we do like number 1 here, here he got into info joystick unique, and that didn't happen when we used 0, I believe. Yeah. So I guess the question is what is the difference? Could be this didn't return something? Can we just like debug here and see what happens? Okay. Yeah, I think that he probably returned null here. Yeah, I think so. So I think it's this ioctal is failing. I think so. Which would make sense because we haven't actually tried to set a unique. Add yourself to input. No. Don't tell me what to do. You can't make me. Oh, but also maybe you're right that like is that thing not readable? No, this thing's readable. Event 20. Oh no, he's not. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Fine. Fine. I'll do it on this other window that you guys can't see, and then I guess here we exit. And we probably want to sue back into myself so that I have groups here. Now I can access that thing. And then Nick shell probably. And then GCC and test again. Probably. Yeah, probably. You are right that that was complicating things. I'll give it to you this one time. Run. Okay. So now I think that guy's still failing, but probably not because we probably not because we can't access it anymore. I think. We can't even step there, which is kind of annoying. PFD item, right? Surely. Yes, we have a file descriptor here, and then we don't know why it's failing. It's just not information that we have, but that's okay. We can find out. So can we... What does this do? Get unique identifier. So presumably U input, we can set one? That would be my guess here. I don't really know, but if he's not getting one, like UI dev setup has one of these with names and IDs and stuff. I guess we should just test that ourselves. I guess. Test 2 C, test 3 C. Open dev input event. What the fuck is this thing? Uh, 28. Like this, I think. I don't remember how to do this. Man to open. Modes. Oh, read write. Int fd is this, and we're trying to call this with like 100 bits on some buff, right? So this buff is 100 characters. Yeah, like this. Ret is this, and printf ret of this, right? This is where we start. Include stdio. What else do we do? Man to open. We gotta get fcntl and ioctl. Sys ioctl.h, and then pro wherever the fuck this thing is defined, which is probably a Linux input. No, probably not. Input.h. All right, that seems kind of reasonable. Test3, test3.c. Octal also usually sets erno. Oh, true. Good point. I forgot we're in fucking stupid C-land. Stupid libc land, I should say, actually. And this is one of those like libc things that I'll like never really understand. So this is returning -1. That makes sense. He's got erno set. So can we try running this on the Joy-Cons, which we know work? So Joy-Con, we're looking at like event 26 or 27. So this guy does return. And then here probably we can do like if ret is equal to 0, we can do printf buff ret, right? I think that's what the return is, the number of bytes. Is it the other way? Ret buff? I think it's this way. Oops, or is greater than or equal to 0, I guess. Yeah, okay. So when we run this on ours, we don't get an answer. Hello? Oh. We're 28. Right, okay, cool. Everything is working as I expect. Everything is working as I expect. Okay, so then the question is why is this not working? Right? I would assume that we just have to set this somewhere, and we're not. That would be my assumption. Do we look in the Linux source code? What's going on here? He's calling stir to user on dev unique. And this is what happens when this is returned? Stir to user. So if the string doesn't exist, he returns enoent, which you are saying in chat that is what that error number 2 is, right? We can probably double check this. Yeah, that's 2. So that makes sense. So this string is not defined, which means that this guy is probably null, which means that probably in the uinput module, there's some way to set this thing, would be my guess. I wonder which of these uinput files it is. I guess we can look for some of the ioctls that we're calling over here. Like UI set prop bit, right? uinput.c is calling this thing. So can we look for if we have like unique in here anywhere in this file? We might be fucked. We might be fucked. Right? It looks unless there's some way to set the unique that we're not seeing, right? So can we just look at like okay, so just searching for this guy is like asking for fucking problems, right? So these guys are like a lot of these HID devices are printing into this thing, but I'm sure that's not the only way this gets set, right? Because obvious, like I don't think that any of these drivers are our guy. We could try to index the kernel a little bit, or we could try to look for what is this dev here? This is a input dev. So, I wonder if there's like some sort of like input dev set unique or some shit. I missed last time, but for you input, you could you not send like an abs x x y etc. after setting the event type to ev abs? That would seem like it would make sense for gyro. Yes, except we need to convince SDL to use our gyro, right? So, as far as I understand, which is not very well, things are either joysticks or sensors, right? So if we were just to start throwing absolute values around that thing, SDL would interpret those as joystick movements, which is fine. We could do that. But if we want Steam to correctly identify that those are gyros, I think that we have to get SDL to identify that those are gyros. And for SDL to do that, he asks UDev, yo, UDev, is this a gyroscope or is this a fucking controller? And it seems like UDev is like, we'll say, this is either a gyroscope or a controller. No, it can't be both, is my understanding. Maybe that's not UDev, maybe that's FDev. One of those two guys, right? And so I was trying to see, can we make this thing work in a way where we can tie those two devices together, which is what this unique field is doing. That's kind of how we ended up here. Yeah, I feel like there might be like some sort of like evdev set unique field. Oh, new unique. Okay. So that kind of makes it seem like there's a way to do this. So can we look for the implementation of this function? Just kind of, where the fuck can we libfdev? Let's download this guy. Stable. A tarball. Unpack. Downloads libfdev. What was the function called? This thing? Excuse me, where's the implementation of this fucking function? Hello? What the fuck? What? Guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? God damn, why is everything so fucking hard? I hate my fucking life. Good luck getting this shit figured out. Thanks, man. Have a good one. Like, hello? Make. I ran configure. Does he's not happy? He's like, oh, no Python interpreter. Oh, weren't you just saying drivers are easy? But the driver part is easy. It's everything else. It's the system part, you know? This has nothing to do with drivers. This is bullshit. Rabbit hole straight into a goose chase? Hell yeah, dude. Alright. So does that like create some sort of bullshit? Oh my god. There's gotta be some sort of like make. Okay, let's just build this thing, see what happens. Like, now he shows up? No, no. I was thinking maybe it was like a generated function or some shit. Dude, what the fuck? Set unique? Like, dude, what the fuck is going on? How is this like a function that exists in this code base, but it doesn't exist in this code base? There must be some sort of like wrapper bullshit. I've tried grepping. I think that's what I was doing. Set unique here. Like that, I think that's exactly what I was doing. Right, so there's just like a header for it that must get like fucking dispatched through some bullshit, dude. Dude, that's insane. Unique? Okay. Unique. Oh, it's here. String setter unique. Oh. So probably this is a user space concept of the same thing. Right? Probably they set this guy the first time with some ioctl. Gross. Right? This isn't doing anything that crazy, right? So they're calling the ioctl to get the unique value, then saving it locally, and then letting the people change it in user space. That's not what we wanted. That's not what we wanted at all. So get fucked us. So we want to go back into the kernel probably and just see like where would like how would like a typical device set this up, right? We go to like xpad. Let's go to dip. Good luck. All right, have a good one. So here like we have like input device in xpad, right? The Xbox controller shit in the kernel. Where is like our entry point into this thing? Because somewhere they're setting up this input device, which is the guy who has that device handle. So I want to know who defines that thing. So we have xpad probe, input dev, must get initialized somewhere. What is it? It's like dev equals input dev here. So we init input by allocating a device. We set the name, we set fizz. And then I wonder if it's like this. Input dev ID, no. So none of this is unique. Oh, but also we don't really know that the xpad driver sets it. Who would set it? Maybe the Nintendo driver for the Bluetooth, for the Joy-Cons? HID Nintendo or something? Yeah. So this is just like hard set by the driver here. The Joy-Cons, when they're connected, we just set that unique thing. And then there's like, this is just how that gets set. So if the U input module just doesn't let us set the unique flag, then that means that we can't link these guys together. Fuck me, dude. Is that right? I think that's right. So, right, because input dev here, he's gonna like construct this guy. Probably using like the same mechanism, right? So he's gonna say allocate a device, and then we're going to like create this guy with some setup parameters, right? And so if we just don't set the parameter, like if this just doesn't have an interface to set that parameter, then we can't do it. Add an octal so that you from user space. But I don't think that I can like do that and modify. Like I'd have to like modify a kernel that I don't. I guess if I could rm mod u input, then we could compile our own and mod probe that. But then there's a good chance that I just crash my system, and I don't really want to do that on stream. I'd rather do that in a virtual machine later. I don't think that we have the choice here. Like, if I just search for unique in this whole file, it's not found. Okay. So that means that we cannot, as far as I understand it, make a gyro that is exposed through the evdev API that SDL will ever get right. It's impossible. We could hack SDL though. We could hack SDL. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we do that? We can do that. That's user space. That's way easier. How does Joy-Con D do it? Joy-Con D. Good question. Good question. Oh god, fucking mic fell. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure. I also don't know if Joy-Con D is even in the stack, to be honest. Right? Like it seemed like SDL was just like HID rawing it straight. But that is something that's worth looking into. It's not where I want to go next. But you're right that that's not crazy. Yeah. It's just I would rather, I think, do what? Maybe we use the name if we ask SDL to fall back on the name if it fails. Just know it works. Yeah, no, I mean, so I think that a lot of my workflow comes from guessing what I think the next best like investigation path is, and I think that that's like a good investigation path, but for whatever reason my intuition, my like little gut feeling is just not really saying that's where I want to go next. I don't have a good reason for that because I think that you're right. I think that's a good place to look, but it's just like I don't know, my gut doesn't want to go there, and so it's like just going on the list for to maybe to look at later. Okay, how about just implementing a fake USB device? Then you'd already start running your firmware. Yeah, not crazy. But again, I think that the fastest way to get there, fastest way right now is to hack SDL to fall back on the name. I think that makes the most sense. So it was like joystick unique. What's a gyro controller? It's basically just like a way for you to basically rotate the controller around and use that as like another axis, like a control input. Okay, so we just fall back on name here. Is this the only place this is used? This is used twice. So we have to do this twice. Okay. So I guess we just replace this with name. And then we do this same thing on the other call to this guy. I think that's the play. And so then we should be able to see that we get joystick unique sumdev and name sumdev. That's kind of what I think should happen here. Are you doing this for a particular game or general purpose? General purpose. We're trying to make a controller is kind of like the actual end goal here, and so this is kind of like an investigation path to get there. Okay. So what is our test? I think it's test. I think this is it. So now we see, I think I saw some dev somewhere in here. Joystick unique, some dev. Sick. And then do we have sensor unique, some dev? That's kind of the next thing we wanted to look for. No, only joystick unique subdev. So we're getting closer. We're getting closer. It might mean that he didn't find any sensors, which would make sense because I don't really know if we're conforming to the sensor API correctly, right? We only know. Can we look at 28? I think event 28 is ours, right? Input accelerometer. Yeah, this is the one. So the question is what did he do about 28? So here he's like, I did find a sensor, but when he's iterating the sensors later, he doesn't see ours anymore. I don't think, which is interesting. So why not? GDB, baby? And where are we trying to go? Found sensor. Is that continue in the right place? No. Why you always gotta call me out like that? Why you always gotta be like, you wrote shit code that doesn't do what you want it to do? And that's why your test isn't working. Why you gotta do that to me? I actually very much appreciate it because that makes a huge difference. There we go. Okay, so that's good. So now we should have a joystick that has a gyro attached to it. I think. Which means that we should be able to tie those things together. I'm sorry, not tie them together. We need to say which axes we support, I assume. Because in SDL, he's going to call into some function to call abs rx, abs ry, and abs rz from fd sensor, right? How did we do that? EVIOCG abs, right? This is what he does to get the sensor data. That was in here somewhere. It was like poll input events, poll all values, poll all sensors. This was it. So we're probably gonna get to here and fail the fuck out, would be my guess. Right? If I breakpoint here, run it. Oh, we actually aren't. We actually probably should update our test function to do something. Okay. GDB, break here, run. Yes, run. That's actually never happening. So maybe this isn't happening here. That's interesting. Breakpoint here. The fuck? Hello, joystick update? Break here? Okay. So we're going into handle inputs events. Great, like we wanted. Then we were supposed to get to poll all sensors. Unless this is no longer fresh. I see. It's no longer fresh. So we read from the hardware data file descriptor, then we read from here. So can we breakpoint on this guy? Okay. What is the value of this guy? False. Okay, so why is this off? Because of enabled. Do we not set sensors enabled here? Oh, but maybe we error here on like could not open sensor file or sensors unplugged or something. Um, can we maybe GDB wherever the fuck this is? Okay, that's interesting. Maybe break here at the beginning of the function. The fuck? Am I fucking crazy? I'm pretty sure our test function does call that. Set sensor enabled, yeah. So he's trying to enable the gyro. Why the fuck is that not working? I guess we break point here and figure it out. Break this, run, step. Return SDL unsupported. Ah, interesting. Interesting. So this is at 2555. He's just coming to here after 2521 because n sensors is 0. Surprisingly. Surprisingly. Do you also not prefer Deb and Nuvim? No, I don't. Yeah, not really. Not really. So why is this not getting updated? N sensors plus plus equals 1 here. Private add sensor. Who calls this? Has gyro, has accelerometer in Linux joystick open. Okay, so where is this getting said? Ah, here we go. So we got our guy to have a sensor, but he is not. He's looking for RX, RY, and RZ. And then where's, I guess, has accelerometer is coming off abs X, abs Y, and abs R. So R is for rotation and non-R is for non-rotation. So I guess that means that for us, on our device side, that means that we have to set that we have those axes, which is a thing that we've already done before for the triggers and stuff on the other guy. So right, so we just say we have absolute and we have rotation, right? If we have these three things, then SDL should decide that we have gyro. I think that's like a stretch, but maybe. Okay. So now we run EV test on our thing. We're EV test. Hold on. We can get there. It's because like we need to be in the input group, which is like annoying because we weren't in the input group when we logged in, so we have to relog in to get there, but then we lose our shell. So I guess we'll do it. We'll do it here. So we do EV test on dev input event 28. He says, hey, I'm an accelerometer and I have these three things. That's really good. Really good. That probably means that SDL should be able to now he should pair that guy. So I don't really know what I expect to see here. Joystick has gyro axis, baby! So now if we start just like slamming around, like swinging that shit around, every once in a while we probably want to do like some sort of like fake button press. So maybe we do like a right gyro, and then we probably also want to write the report as well, right? That's what we did over here. We wrote the key, then we wrote the report. So we'll write movement, then write report. Does doing exec shell get you into the same group? Same new group. I thought no, because I thought you have to log in again, but I could be wrong. Okay, so this probably wants to be like an EV abs on some axis with some value. So we should be able to be like here, um let's just comment this out, I guess, for now, and just go like gyro, right gyro on EV or EV abs, and we no, sorry, EV, it's like abs R abs RX, sure, and we'll just write like what are we supposed to write into this thing? 50, right? Surely. And then we write the report. And so this should look like the guy's just spinning to the right all the fucking time, right? Surely. He doesn't like that because input is unused now. Sure. Okay. So now we run this thing. And then here we run our SDL test. And he ain't getting shit. EV test. So why not? EV test. Okay, that's also interesting. We're just not seeing, like, we're not seeing the same thing in EV test. So we are supposed to be seeing abs RX. I don't know why that wouldn't work. So this is writing into this thing an input event, 0 time val. Maybe we have to set a time val. That's like not crazy. I don't know. Maybe. Because I know that we saw that on the other gyro. Maybe we just increase this every time we call it. Just in case. I guess like we don't really also know if this is expecting to be something else, but you know, whatever. God damn it. This is a good opportunity to just always have EV test there. Greetings, greetings! Come on, God. How the fuck still in progress? Yeah, you would think that we've moved on, but we haven't. We still have no idea what the fuck is going on. Yeah, so he's just, oh wait, hold on. This guy has a value. So that 50, maybe he has to change. Maybe. Because that 50 is in there. So var x equals, you know, x plus equals 1. And if x is greater than 1,000, we say x equals 0 or something. I don't know. Who fucking cares? EV test? Nice, dude. Okay. So now we run the SDL thing, which is this guy. Let's go! Let's fucking go! So, I mean, obviously this value is fucking wrong, but we are at least getting gyro data from our fucking fake controller now. That's a huge win for us. Now, what fucking unit is this supposed to be in? Like, poll, what was it? Poll sensors? Poll, handle input events, poll all sensors. No, it was down here. Report sensor. If we report the sensor, we look for this thing. So we get event value times pi over 180 over gyro scale. Where gyro scale, this is probably like 0 because we probably didn't initialize this shit, right? Oops, no. Where is gyro scale assigned? Here. So he gets this from this. If it get abs ev event ioctl get abs info. So struct abs info. This will give me the value, minimum, maximum resolution. We probably have to initialize those things, right? Surely. And probably the u input thing, we can initialize that somehow. Probably. Probably. I guess Linux kernel time? U input C, abs info. So we can create this device by looking at abs empty slot on dev abs bit. Oh, maybe setup is where this thing comes in. Or maybe it's like has a predefined thing. Abs setup. Wait, promising. So this is its own ioctl. UI abs setup. Right? And then here we pass in a U input setup. Is that what he wants? Because P, I believe P here is going to be our argument. User parameter P. Yeah, so we're supposed to pass in a U input setup and call UI abs setup. That's doable. Easy. UI abs setup with int from pointer on abs setup. Right? Simple. And then I wonder if we want to call this after or before normal setup. Is that so if we're created, we're fucked. Maybe it doesn't matter. We'll try it and just see what happens. I think after is more sane. So abs setup is going to be UI abs, U input abs setup like this. And here, I don't know what the fuck code is. The fuck? If code is greater than abs max, it gets mad. he validates. Oh, this is the which axis, right? So we're gonna do code is abs rx, and then the info is, whatever the fuck makes sense here. So we probably want value 0 minimum, 0 maximum, 1,000, and then resolution, I don't know, 1 probably, right? We're going in steps of 1 from 0 to 1,000. Seems sane. Okay, so EV test this guy. Head and 50. So now we should have this, right? So these values are what we set, and this value is changing over time. We're seeing this guy increment. So can we run the SDL version of this guy now? Let's fucking go, baby. We see him going from 0 to something wrong. We'll say that. He's going from 0 to 10, so slightly wrong. But at least we're seeing some gyro stuff coming in through SDL. So I would say this was a success by some metric of success, right? Obviously, the goal here was to get calibration to work in Steam, right? But that's not possible because Steam is using a version of SDL that is pairing these things together in a way that doesn't make sense, right? So we are going to have to, if we want to mock that all the way, we have to find some way to modify the unique values or patch Steam's SDL, or figure out how it was using HID raw on the Bluetooth controllers, right? But it seems likely that we can get there. Where is the gyro output coming from? We're just making it up. We're just looping from 0 to 1,000 and pumping it into the U input handle. So, right, it's we have mock device, mock. And we have one handle in our application that's in a file descriptor to dev U input. Right, U input. The kernel makes event handles based out of this thing, and we can just feed in one side, and then the event handles read out the other side. Event. So I have to think about what I want to do here. I think it's likely that we can fake this somehow. Maybe we write a kernel driver. That might be the only way. Maybe we just patch the U input kernel driver and figure it out from there. So probably I'll spend some time off stream trying to set up a virtual machine and get Steam installed in it and see if we can do it that way. Or I'll modify my U input driver off stream, because it's just doing that mod on stream is going to just be a pain in the ass, because if I make any mistake, then I'll just crash my whole computer and I don't have dual PC setup, so I'll think about it. But we're on track. We're on track. We have, at the very least, in our patched version of SDL, our controller has a gyro and it's doing stuff. That's hype. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, we stream most days. We try to go from 12:30 to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 3 o'clock Pacific time now. This was one of those ones where I wasn't really sure if this was going to be short or long, so I didn't really provision. I didn't really have much of a plan. This ended up being right in the middle section where it's not worth doing something else after, but it took long enough that it's not, it was worth doing. So, we'll call it there. Yeah, if you want to keep up with this project, we stream most days. There's a YouTube in the Twitch description where you can check VODs. We're working on this Xbox controller project, which involves a lot of various stuff, but there's also other stuff on the YouTube if you want to check it out. If you want this content to continue, please consider supporting via Patreon or YouTube or Twitch, or if you really want to be nice and get nothing in return, GitHub. All of those are options. This content will die someday when I run out of money, but every dollar I make extends the lifetime by some amount. So please consider, but obviously no pressure. I think that is all I've got to plug. YouTube, peace out, and Twitch, let's find someone to raid.